I may say that I want to, forgive them and be friends again, but in the future, like, if they're not what I expect to be, will I really be able to forgive them and be friends again with them, right? So it's a two-way thing, right? Even if I want to be friends with them, they don't want to be friends with me. It's not possible. And the radicalization that has happened, I think 95%, even 99.9% of the friendships that have been broken will be hard to mend, right? It's a deep scar.
मैं दिल्ली के उस इलाके में हूँ, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के उस इलाके में हूँ जहाँ पर मणिपुरी स्टूडेंट्स रहते हैं। ये वो इलाका है जहाँ मणिपुर से आए बच्चे रहते हैं पीजीज़ में या हॉस्टल्स में। यहाँ पहुँचकर आज हमारी बात कुकी कम्युनिटी के कुछ लोगों से हुई, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स से हुई, आई वुड ज़्यादा से, जिन बच्चों ने हमसे बात करते हुए अपना पर्सनल ओपिनियन हमारे सामने रखा। अगर मणिपुर वायलेंस के बारे में आप ज़्यादा ब्रीफ नहीं है तो मैं आपको बता दूँ, ये वायलेंस दो कम्युनिटीज़ के बीच में है, कुकी एंड मेइतेई। जो मणिपुर की डेमोग्राफी है, अगर आप उसको समझना चाहें तो मणिपुर जो स्टेट है उस स्टेट के बिल्कुल बीचों बीच वाला एरिया, जो 10% एरिया ऑफ लैंड है, उसको वैली कहा जाता है, इम्फाल वैली, जहाँ पे कैपिटल भी है। उस वैली में मेइतेई कम्युनिटी के लोग रहते हैं जिनकी पॉपुलेशन 53% तक है, यानी कि मेजॉरिटी पॉपुलेशन है। उस कम्युनिटी के लोग उस वैली के अंदर रहते हैं जो रिलीजन वाइज हिंदू हैं मेजरली, और उसके अंदर SC एंड OBCs का दर्जा उनको कैटेगोरिकली दिया गया है। इसके अलावा जो हिल एरिया है, जो 90% ऑफ द एरिया है, उसके अंदर कुकी कम्युनिटी के लोग रहते हैं या कुकी ट्राइब के लोग रहते हैं। नागा ट्राइब भी है वहाँ, और भी बहुत सारी ट्राइब है, लेकिन कुकी ट्राइब भी वहाँ रहती है। कुकी ट्राइब की पॉपुलेशन मेइतेइस की कंपैरेटिवली कम है, लेकिन जो एरिया ऑफ लैंड उनको दिया गया है वो बहुत डेवलप्ड नहीं है, ऐसा उनका इल्ज़ाम लगता रहता है। ये एक ट्राइब है। अब जब मणिपुर में कोर्ट द्वारा एक सजेशन आया हाई कोर्ट द्वारा कि भाई मेइतेइस जो पहले काफ़ी सालों से खुद को शेड्यूल ट्राइब के अंदर इंक्लूड करे जाने की मांग कर रहे हैं, उसके मांग को सपोर्ट या एक सजेशन में जब हाई कोर्ट ने बताया, तब से वायलेंस इरप्ट हुआ। आज की कहानी में हमने जिन बच्चों से बात की है वो कुकी ट्राइब से हैं। उन्होंने अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस हमारे साथ शेयर किए हैं, क्यों ये वायलेंस बढ़ा और वो इस वायलेंस को खुद कैसे देखते हैं। तो वेलकम टू अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ पीपल्स पंचायत, हियर वी गो। नमस्कार, स्वागत है आप सभी का। आज की पंचायत थोड़ी सी संगीन होगी। पीपल्स पंचायत का एक और नया एपिसोड लेके आपके बीच में पहुँचे हैं। संगीन इसलिए होगी क्योंकि जिस मुद्दे पे आज बात की जाएगी वो मुद्दा बहुत लोगों की जान से जुड़ा है, जिंदगियों से जुड़ा है, भविष्य से जुड़ा है। मणिपुर के बारे में आज बात करेंगे, लेकिन संगीन पंचायत का मतलब ये कतई नहीं होगा कि आपको चेहरे पे मुस्कुराहटें देखने को ना मिलें। दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी हम लोग आ गए हैं, बहुत से अच्छे चेहरों से इस वक्त मैं घिरा हुआ हूँ। ये लोग मणिपुर से आए हुए वो विद्यार्थी हैं जो दिल्ली में पढ़ाई करते हैं। एक भाई साहब हैं जो इम्फाल से अभी कुछ दिन पहले आए हैं, राइट। ऑल राइट, सो इसको हम इंग्लिश में कन्वर्सेशन को कंटिन्यू कर रहे होंगे। इनसे जानेंगे सभी कुकी, यू ऑल आर फ्रॉम कुकी, राइट, कुकी कम्युनिटी। सभी लोग कुकी समुदाय से हैं और इस मणिपुर में जो वायलेंस देखने को मिला पिछले कुछ महीनों में, उसका जो ब्रीफ है वो मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी दिया। अब एक बार इनसे जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि इनका पर्सनल इंडिविजुअल थॉट क्या है। सो इफ यू ऑल अलाउ, आई लाइक टू बिगिन विद हिम बिकॉज ही हैज जस्ट रिसेंटली कम फ्रॉम इम्फाल।
Personally, I feel this unfortunate situation which escalated, so fast, seems to have been pre-planned, by certain sections of the society, right? So one of the main accusations being thrown at us is of narco-terrorism, right? But then singling out an entire community for for this business, which is being done by all of the communities in the place, right? Like, so they're not singling out any other community, but they're singling out our community for this, and it has gone to such a point where even little kids, are singing hate songs. They're being brainwashed, into hating a particular community, and terming them as illegal immigrants, whereas they don't have any proof, right? And then blaming them as narco-terrorists, right? So I feel like this is something which has been pre-planned, of course, very discreetly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what he actually is talking about, I would like to mention here, the Manipur government, our home minister himself has mentioned about the golden triangle, which he particularly says, right? Golden triangle के अंदर 3 कंट्रीज आती हैं, म्यांमार, लाओस एंड द थर्ड वन इज सो इन तीनों कंट्रीज से जो आपका ड्रग्स है, जिसके अंदर अफीम की बात की जाती है और कई तरह के ड्रग्स की बात की जाती है, यहाँ से एक्सपोर्ट किया जाता था। लेकिन अब आरोप ये भी लगाया जाता है कि मणिपुर के अंदर जो हिल एरिया है, जो कि 90% ऑफ द मणिपुर है, राइट, इफ़ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, तो वहाँ से ये बात कही जा रही है कि यहाँ से ड्रग बाहर एक्सपोर्ट भी किया जा रहा है। यहाँ पे अफीम की खेती की जा रही है, जिसका आरोप लगाया जाता है कुकी ट्राइब के ऊपर मेजॉरिटी, राइट, इफ़ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग। आपका ये कहना है, यू फील दैट दिस इज समहाउ प्री प्लान, लाइक दे आर डूइंग इट डेलिबरेटली? Why do you think so? If you would like to explain, any of you, like, if you want to speak, yes, please.
Personally, I feel that the reason why I believe that we're being singled out, I don't really know what is your motive behind it, but the reason why I think is because when you look at it, we're not the only ones. I do admit that there might be some people who might be involved. There certainly are, but that doesn't mean that the entire community is involved. So that's my take on that.
Right. Also, I would like to mention here, there are various media reports. Government itself has somewhere suggested the population in the hill area, let's say of Kukis or Nagas or the tribes living in the hill area, has increased abnormally. Like they say, the population has increased on the rate of 100.18%. What do you think? Is this fact correct, or there are some elements, other elements into it?
I mean, what is the data about that? First of all, I wanted to ask the question back to you. Have you come across any kind of data which says that the population of the tribal peoples are growing so fast that it becomes now, it is more than the valley people, so-called the Meitei community? There is no such as data which shows that, or evidence which shows that Kuki population has grown to this much percentage, and it become so much, rapidly it grown so much that it actually now overtake the population of the Meitei community. There is nothing short of such data.
Why did I mention this abnormal population growth which is being mentioned in the media reports? I didn't mean to mention that Kuki population has increased more than the Meitei population, but when the government says, when the media report says that the population is increasing abnormally, it somehow leads to a situation where we can refer the illegal immigration which is happening for Myanmar, which the government says is happening due to the Golden Triangle and the drug wala scenario. That is why I asked you, do you believe that there is illegal immigration happening there and the tribes are involved in it?
See, as far as my individual opinion is concerned, if we're talking about the illegal immigrants, I never come across any kind of records from the government data saying that this much is the illegal immigrants. Okay, actually we are just accusing for no reason that we are illegal immigrants. Can you really imagine that for the past 100 years we have been staying together, we have been eating together, we have been settling together, but then all of a sudden within a night you are just blaming a particular community like Kuki community that they are illegal immigrants? Doesn't make sense at all. I mean, if you apply your logic behind it, doesn't make sense at all. Therefore, as one of my co-panelists told us that actually this is a pre-plan. Obviously, for me also, it is totally a pre-plan, because the problems. Actually, this is something which everybody would agree, and everybody is very much aware of that. The muscle man behind all these things is obviously the state government. Why did I say so? Because the state government it is the responsibility of the state government to tackle the situation and the violence. On 3rd of May, when the violence started taking place, it would have been controlled within an hour. But then the state government chose not to control, and even I heard from some rumors that the police were not even given an order to act upon when the violence took place at Delin Tolbung, which is the adjacent boundary between Bishnupur district and Chorachampur district. Okay, so if you think about that, obviously, in order the police to actually take an action to control a violence which is actually taking place on 3rd of May, the order has to come from the chief minister, right? From the state government.
Right.
But then such kind of order is not taking place. Therefore, they are not even able to act accordingly. Therefore, the situation becomes escalated. So that is one of the reasons why I say so. The Chief Minister and the government of Manipur is the one and only who is responsible for this violence, and also this is the reason, one of the reasons why it is a pre-planned. And secondly, if you talk about why did I think that this is a pre-planned, let me tell you, within an overnight, when the problem was actually taking place in Torbung area, in the Imphal Valley, the problem was already started. I mean, the violence was already started, burning down Kuki houses, so many churches, into ashes, and also so many people have been killing, all these things have been taken place. Can we imagine that just because a minor escalation took place in Torbung, that's within an hour, within a night itself, more than 100 houses of Kuki houses have been already burned down in Imphal Valley. If this is not a pre-plan, and if a Meitei community are not well planned, or if this is not a set-up plan, people, the public of even the Meitei public would not simply react. They will not be so fast to react in such a way that the situation will become so escalated.
How did the information spread so quickly? That's what you are saying. How did the information spread so quickly? The violence erupted. All right. You were there in Imphal. If I'm allowed to ask, I've been told by team who was there in Manipur that there are people, friends from inter-community, like Kukis used to be in friends with Meiteis. Did you have any friend in the Meitei community? Are you still in friends with the Meitei community, and if not, what particularly has changed?
Yeah, absolutely. Before the violence, we had many friends between different communities, and even after the violence, I had a few of them call me up and ask me how I was. So it was really
Your
heartwarming.
friends from Meitei community,
yes, the friends from the Meitei community. It was really heartwarming. At the same time, the majority of my friends that I see on social media, my statuses, like the posts that are coming up, so it's all about hate and all against the other community, right? So looking at that, I was a bit disappointed, at certain people whom I did not expect to be so radicalized, but it is what it is. In times like these, most people, what I realized from this incident is they don't think with the head, they start thinking with emotions and heart. That's where things get blurred and facts take a backseat and emotions come into play.
So your friends from Meitei community posted something you were not happy with.
Yeah, I've seen many people, many of my friends, post things, very radical things, which was not good to look at.
That particularly disappointed you. Yeah. If I may ask, do you have any friend from Meitei community right now? Are you in talks with them? I
have one fellow who I talk with, but it's not about this issue because he also likes to abstain and remain neutral. So he's a good guy. I'm in touch with him.
I will get to know that this violence has not actually affected your friendship. I'll be glad to know if it is the case. Is it the case?
Yeah, certain friendships that have stood the test of this violence, I hope they'll remain. But some others, I guess, they might become stale over the coming moments.
All right, guys, to be honest, what I believe is, I believe the law and order has particularly failed. There could have been some more, genuine steps that could have been taken. But above all of that, I believe the most important thing for all of us, being a democratic nation, is the integrity between the two communities, right? As he said, there used to be a lot of friends from Meitei community, which he is disappointed of. I believe you all must have been stories like that. I believe the concept of individualism comes way before this communism concept, the community. And for that, I would actually like to know what went wrong besides the law and order. Do you believe the media did not cover the incident well? Are you happy? Are you guys happy with the media coverage of this particular violence? You want to speak first? Yeah. The media coverage.
Actually, these days, media played a very important role.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody is getting a secondary information. So the secondary information is one of the secondary information is media, right? So whatever the media is reporting, actually all the viewers just believed it, right? So likewise, yes, I do wanted to blame even media, because what happened, if you talk about media in there are only local media which is based only in Imphal Valley. So we hardly have media which cover our story, that is Kukis community. So Imphal Valley based media, like all this, I don't want to name it. If I name, I mean, it's not a good thing to name it, but there are so many Imphal Valley based media which talks only one-sided story. Like for example, let's say whenever there is an attack from the Meitei community, the very next day or the next thing that you will heard is that Kuki militants killing there's a Meitei innocent or village volunteer, something like that, right? Which is totally a fake news or false information. But this has been carrying on, and because of the media wrong information, there is also allegation or accusation against Kukis community. Even it is circulated on media saying that Kuki peoples have raped Meitei girls, who are actually studying medicine in one of the medical colleges in the Kuki dominated district, that is Churachampo, Lamka. Okay, so because of which also there are so many innocent public Meitei community who are carried away by that false information, and then they started become resentment and anger, and because of all those wrong information. And this is also one of the reasons which actually escalated the kind of violence between the two communities. Therefore, I would also like to say that media played a very important, and because of false information from the media, there is more and more miscommunication and misunderstanding between the two communities. So media has to be very careful when some story has been reported. It has to be based on the ground reality. Okay, like I would say East Mojo is doing very good, covering stories and all, because you are not doing only Kukis community, but you are doing even the Meitei story, right? So that is a good thing. You have to, media has to study from both the both perspective of the community as well as on the ground levels of both the district. Both the community dominated areas, right? So that's why because of lacking of this kind of research or kind of investigation, I think there is lack of genuine information for the public. So I hope that at least even the local valley-based media should come up with a clean hand, covering both the stories of Meitei as well as Kukis community.
Are you also trying to say somehow the valley-based media in Manipur particularly didn't work well? They were somehow doing the biased stories towards the Meiteis, or the misinformation was there, which somehow escalated the violence, right? Is this what you're trying to say?
Absolutely, that is true, and because of which there is more misunderstanding between the two communities.
Right. All right. Do you also believe that media, due to media, the misinformation, the fake news somehow led to the
this Manipur-based, let me say, Manipur Valley-based media, they have shown this bias report, let me say.
We're talking about the local media.
Yeah, local media, yes.
Right.
They will blame only the Kukis community, and they will back up their own community, let's say Meitei. And so far, when the acting is going on, the blame is only against the Kuki, and anything that happens to the Meitei, they will blame against only the Kuki. If some Meiteis die, they will blame the Kuki militants, and they will put many allegations.
Which led to the situation being more worse. Yeah. All right. So misinformation has played its part in escalating the issue. Do you have any friends from Meitei community now? Did you have any friends earlier? What's your story? I would like to know.
Actually, I have some friends, Meitei friends, but then everything has changed.
How did it change? Yeah.
Changed like before they used to contact
used to through phones, through social media and all, we used to contact each other. But then as of now, though, there's not much contact between us. It's already changed.
Trust of each other, like
So kind of, yeah. We already lost it kind of trust. And
you guys have lost trust on each
trust,
other.
yeah.
And why has that happened? I would explain, because when I talk about the
When,
friendship,
yeah, of course. When we see the situation compels us everything.
all right.
So it's not our choice, but then we need to accept it.
The insecurities of
Exactly.
your life
Exactly.
and all
Absolutely.
these things led to. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So मैं आप लोगों को अगर बताना चाहूँ तो जो वायलेंस हो रहा है, जो लैंड डिस्प्यूट है, जो वैली एरिया है जहाँ पर मेजॉरिटी में जो मेइतेई कम्युनिटी है वहाँ पे लोग रहते हैं, और हिल एरिया में कुकीज़ लिव, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, राइट? And Meiteis, as I am informed, cannot buy land in the hill area. That is also a reason for this whole violence which is happening. How do you look at it? What can be the solutions according to you guys? Because you are here in Delhi. You look.
I'll take.
Yeah.
take the lead.
Please.
When we look at statistics, we can look
क्या
at
जस्ट आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन, अगर आप लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि क्यों नहीं खरीद सकते हैं, तो देश में एक एक्ट होता है प्रिवेंशन ऑफ एट्रोसिटीज़ अमेंडमेंट एक्ट, जो 1989 में आया था. उसके अंदर ये बात मेंशन की जाती है, जो नॉन एसटी कम्युनिटी से लोग हैं वो किसी एसटी कम्युनिटी से कोई लैंड खरीद नहीं कर सकते. इन केस मान लीजिए अगर आपको मुझसे कोई लैंड खरीदना है और अगर मैं एसटी कम्युनिटी से हूँ, आप एसटी नहीं है, तो आप मुझसे लैंड नहीं खरीद सकते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट द एट्रोसिटीज़ अमेंडमेंट एक्ट सेज. नाउ प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
Yeah, when we look at statistics such as this, I feel that looking at just one statistic is very misleading, right?
All right.
So when we talk about land, we have to talk about economic as well.
Sure.
So if we talk about land, yeah, maybe it's true that we do that the hills occupy a majority of the state, right? But then let's look at the economic as well, the economic perspective of it. How much is a budget being allocated, and where is development taking place, right? And when you look at statistics, when you dive deep into these statistics, you will find that the valley is located maybe 1.92%. I think I calculated it once, not even 2%. And so 1.92, which amounts to I guess 98.08% of the entire budget is being allocated to the valley.
All right.
So you can. So one of the main things that the Meiteis accuse us of is they cannot buy land, but we cannot buy land in the hills, but they can buy land in the valley, right? So when you see this economic disproportionality that is taking place, obviously it's in human tendency to migrate to places with better opportunities.
All right.
So when you center the entire development of the state in a particular valley, it's natural that people are going to go towards the better facilities, right? Because you have hospitals here, you have all the major hospitals here, you have all the major universities here, and you have everything over there. And the hills are left with nothing. 1.92% of the budget is nothing. You cannot even develop a particular community with that, if I may say that at a stretch. So when you look at these statistics, looking at land statistics is fine, but with that we have to look at other statistics as well.
All right.
So yeah, that's
So talking about the economic disparity,
Yeah, exactly.
particularly the concentration of the economic growth in valley, which you're,
both economic wealth in the valley.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that is a thing which we should consider, guys. Now we'll move towards the conclusion. I would like to know, are you guys optimistic about the situations, whatever is happening in Manipur? Are you guys optimistic about the situations being solved in a manner that both of the communities, both the Meiteis and the Kukis, the integrity which we are talking about, the integrity is retained, and the conditions which both communities are putting, your demands from the government, the government's on its parts needs to correct some things. Are you guys optimistic of the situation being solved?
That is a particularly hard question to answer. I feel that this what is happening now will only lead to a zero-sum game, where one will have to take a loss for the other to win. So if we come up with if we're talking about a solution that satisfies both the community, I don't see that happening. I'll be very frank, I don't see that happening at all.
So you believe there cannot be a situation of equilibrium now?
No, I do not think that's possible.
All right.
The others may differ, but that's
All right. What do you think? I mean, let's have each other's all of it. Yeah, please. You go ahead, I will move them. Yeah.
Actually, the only solution is separate administration as of now.
All right.
That's what I can say.
Separate administration.
Administration
Can
is the
be.
only solution.
It doesn't look like, to be honest, it doesn't look like as of now the government is looking towards the separate administration solution. If I may ask, if separate administration does not happen, what can be the next step? What can be, the next alternative?
See,
I mean, you can be honest, whatever you feel like. Yeah.
freedom struggle. They didn't gain independence in a day or two, so it's a continuous process. If we don't get, if not now, then maybe in the future we'll have to work towards that.
Yeah, so 2024 elections are coming. I don't think we'll see any solution anytime soon. But one idealistic solution, we can see from the Singaporean tripartite model, right? The Tamils, Malays, and Chinese are living. I think they have equal proportions of say in the parliament, assembly, and even in the education, they have co-education with each other, different communities, right? There is one very idealistic view, but I doubt that will be considered by any at this point of time, even the government, right?
You believe both the communities are happy with this particular solution which you are suggesting? I mean, will there be a scope of, a diplomatic conversation between the communities? I'm not talking about the government. Let's just keep the government aside for a second and let's just talk about the communities.
So if both the communities are willing, so why not? It can happen, but I don't think at this point anybody's going to be willing.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually trying to know,
Yeah, but if the government had acted before and put forward this, some solution on these lines, could have salvaged the situation.
As far as my opinion is concerned, I don't think there will be peace until and unless there is separate administration or like the Kuki be given a political solution. So if we don't, then the war will keep on going. So I don't believe there will be peace without any proper solution.
So you believe separate administration is the only solution which...
Absolutely.
You got something to say? Yeah.
Well, if you ask my opinion, I'd say that I don't see a clear-cut solution for this particular problem in this near future or so. Because even if you go outside Manipur, you'll see people struggling just because of this. I was that victim of one of those incidents that happened at 3rd May, the night of 3rd May.
What had happened? You would like to elaborate? I would like to.
I'd say it was one of those most memorable nights of my life, because I'd say that after the prayer meeting which had happened here, I just went out to drop off my sisters because it was too late at night. I was attacked by 45 to 50 Meitei people just right side in that Vijayanagar area.
Right here, all right.
I was attacked by them. It was also covered by one of the news outlets and it was quite visible to all. But at that night, I understood something. Even if my Meitei friends or if they had hope for peace, whatever it may be, I don't think it will be available, or I don't think it will happen for quite some time, because the hatred which they held, it was so deep-rooted, because I didn't even know them. They didn't even know me. They just came up to me, lunged at me and asked me for my Aadhaar card. Who does that at night? It was around 2 or 1 a.m. They just asked me my Aadhaar card, and once I told them it was late at night, why do you want that? They just lunged at me. They just attacked me. I was shocked to know, because I haven't even done anything to them. They don't even know me. I don't even know them. They just attacked me at night. They threatened to rape my sisters, and then so happened. I was admitted to the hospital. I told my mom, I told my dad. They were so, how should I put this? My mom had one of the worst nights of her life. She was worried about my life, and thanks to God, I was able to be saved just at the nick of time. The policeman came and saved me. My friends were also there, but the numbers and the ferocity that they attacked us with, I could easily sense the hatred that they had for us. Even though the news which instigated they may be false, they just need a reason to attack. And I think for a foreseeable future, I don't think there will be quite the right solution for both of the community. Even though I'm being optimistic, it will take some time, and it will take a lot of effort from both the communities. So that's my take on it.
So you believe the hatred has gone to that level that it's a bit difficult to look for a solution in the near future? And why they attacked you was the only reason of you being from Kuki community, the community?
Even Bhaiya was there. He was so scared at that night. I should say that. I mean, if they had like any weapon with them at that night, I would have been dead by now. They were here just right at you saw the road right there. I mean, they were already gathering quite in numbers. They were just waiting for us. And when they got the opportunity, they just attacked. And then when the police came, they ran away like cowards. I mean, that's, if it can happen, that happens.
Yeah, of course, everybody has been affected due to the violence, and even I'm so much affected. If you talk about how much I'm affected, I'm actually, as I said, I'm pursuing my law. I'm in second year, fourth semester, and due to violence, due to the conflicts between the two communities, I'm not even able to give my fourth semester exam, and due to which I'm not even able to be promoted for the third year. So now I'm actually just sitting like this,
Why couldn't you give your exams?
I mean, how can you be able to, give your exam with a free mind or with a peaceful mind when your families are actually captured by your enemy and just, waiting for life and death? I mean, they are just in life and death situation. At that point of time, the first thing, the priority things that you wanted to focus is to save your family, right? Actually, my sisters, 2 kids, and my brother, they were captured in Imphal Valley, and they were not able to rescued since at the beginning of the conversation also we have already mentioned that there was no backup sent from the central from the state government, and not even a security, a protection was sent from the state government. Therefore they were like in the middle of life and death situation. So due to which I was mentally disturbed, and I was totally down, and I don't even know what to do. Therefore I was coming up with this idea that I should give up my exam for the time being. Maybe if God's willing, maybe in the days to come, if everything is becoming back to normal, then only I will rethink, and then if I can give the exam again, I will reappeal the exam. That's my that is my point of view on this ground, and that is how much I'm affected. Talking about, that is one thing, and the second thing is talking about the peaceful roadmap. In order to be for peaceful coexistence, first thing I think which is very paramount is that there has to be acceptance from both the community. Forget about the political issue. Okay, I'm talking about on humanity ground. There has to be acceptance from both the community. Neither Kuki community accepted Meitei community, nor Meitei community accepted Kuki community. And these things is happening because of the false information spread by media. Before, we have already talked about that, right? And there is more hatred going on till today between the two communities. Therefore, acceptance between the two communities is becoming very difficult. It's a big task for us. And until and unless there is acceptance between the two communities, I don't think so there can be peaceful roadmap. That is one thing. And the second thing, to be, on the optimistic point of view, of course, I think, every problem has a solution. I would say that. As a human being, having a heart for not only for myself but for other people as well, towards other community as well, I would say that there can be also peace, of course, but that has to take place on the when we can sit together on a table and then discuss our problems and issues, right? For example, let's say in Churachampur, the district where I come from, there is not even a single multi-specialist hospital. Can you imagine that? And if somebody is extremely or seriously in bad health condition, they have to travel 60 to 70 or more than that kilometers to Imphal Valley in order to save their life. So that is the kind of disparity between the valley-based Meitei community and the Kuki community when it comes to development, right? So that kind of development, that kind of disparity development has to be also recognized or accept by the Meitei Valley-based community, so that the problems that we are facing and the reason why we wanted to be separated from them could be, could be able to move towards to a more, possible solution. But until and unless the Meitei, community accept that, there is no multi-specialty hospital in any of the tribal land, that I don't think so. That will keep on going. That problem will keep on going, and then there won't be any solution. I'm just giving one example.
Yes.
There are many more serious. There are many more disparity examples which I wanted to give you, but then I don't think so. I have to mention each and every point. Okay, and yes, but as of now, on the pessimistic point of view, I think. I don't think so. There can be a shortcut way out for peace solution between the two communities, because the violence is so high and it is so deep rooted, as my friends said, that everybody is already carried away by that, and people don't really wanted to focus on this peaceful settlement or peaceful coexistence. But the only thing that we can think of is that separate administration is the only solution. Valley community and the tribal community can live peacefully. So I would say that separate administration is the only solution for us, even for the Meitei community.
Now, before I break down the separate administration, would you like to break down what can be, the blueprint of that separate administration? How do you look at that particular scenario?
When we talk about separate administration, actually it is more closely related, or by saying separate administration, I mean to say that administratively we wanted to rule ourselves. We wanted to make our own law and orders for the Kukis community. Even we wanted to take up the kind of funds, finances, everything we have to control over it, right? Those are some few points that I can say. It comes under the separate administration.
All right. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया के अंदर 6th शेड्यूल के अंदर ये चीज़ें मेंशन की गई हैं. शेड्यूल 6 के अंदर असम, मिज़ोरम और नागालैंड की ट्राइब्स को कुछ ऑटोनॉमी दी गई है संविधान द्वारा कि आप अपने लिए कुछ कानून संविधान के दायरे में रहकर बना सकते हैं. उसके अंदर अभी मणिपुर की ट्राइब्स इंक्लूडेड नहीं है. जब ये सेपरेट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की बात करते हैं तो आप उसको शेड्यूल 6 से कनेक्ट लिहाजा कर सकते हैं. उसको आप डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे तो यू गेट टू नो व्हाट दे आर एक्चुअली टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हेन दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द सेपरेट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. इट इज़ डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड टू द शेड्यूल 6 ऑफ आवर इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. माई लास्ट क्वेश्चन, gentlemen, to you is, to you specially, to you, would you like to be friends again with your friends who were from Meitei community? Like, I just want to know, has the hatred taken place so deep in your hearts, or it can be eradicated? Like, what is the situation? Your personal opinion. Yeah, we can move. Yes. Is there a possibility of you guys being friends again?
First and foremost, as a Christian, we are taught to, forgive our enemies. So, even if the worst of things have been done to me, it is a command, to love your enemy as yourself, right? So, as a Christian, the right thing would be to forgive, but then the other party forgiving me, I don't think that's foreseeable, right? But then how many people will be able to forgive, That's just something many people will say from their mouths, but with actions, not many people will be able to forgive. I may say that I want to, forgive them and be friends again, but in the future, like, if they're not what I expect to be, will I really be able to forgive them and be friends again with them, right? So it's a two-way thing, right? Even if I want to be friends with them, they don't want to be friends with me. It's not possible, right? And the radicalization that has happened, I think 95%, even 99.9% of the friendships that have been broken will be hard to mend, right? It's a deep scar now.
Alright, you agree with them? Are you on the same page? You believe? Yeah.
Actually, it's same with what my friend said. But in order to be friends again, there is one case. If there is any kind of political solution, separate administration or any kind of solution, then it will be easy to get friends back with them. Other than that, I don't think so.
All right. So on that note, I would like to conclude this conversation. Do you have anything to say, or shall I conclude the conversation? You want to? You want a message to be conveyed to the other community? You have something to tell them? I mean, I'm sure you must be having something to tell them. You can be honest. All right. So this was our conversation in this episode of People's Panchayat. The situation is actually very tensed. When you go on ground in Manipur, you find the violence is actually, at a very alarming rate, which needs to be solved. But unfortunately, अभी तक उसको solve नहीं कर पाए हैं हम लोग. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का फेलियर तो है ही है जो नज़र आ रहा है, लेकिन अब देखना ही होगा कि आने वाले कितने टाइम में ये चीज़ पॉलिटिकली सॉल्व होती है. इंडिविजुअली जब हमने इन लोगों से बात की तो इनका मत था कि आप किसी एक इंडिविजुअल को फॉरगिव करके उस रिलेशनशिप को दोबारा रिवाइव कर सकते हो, लेकिन दोनों कम्युनिटीज़ में वॉयलेंस के चलते जो हेट रेट डेवलप हुआ है उस हेट रेट को नियर फ्यूचर में ख़त्म करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होगा. ये चीज़ सुनने में जितनी बुरी लगती है, आई एम श्योर फील करने में भी उतना ही आप लोगों को ख़राब लगता होगा. बट स्टिल आई वुड रेदर से लेट्स बी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक ऑफ द सिचुएशन बीइंग गुड in the very near future. Till then, I'll take your leave. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I'll see you in another episode. Bye bye. Take care.